Hello, friends, and welcome to Museum Monday. Typically, this series has no narration, but I had originally planned to highlight some of my favorite works by female artists for Women's History Month. I had already chosen my first artist, but the time just got away from me and I did not get started. And then 2 weeks later, on March 20th, that same artist died at the age of 48. This is Nona Faustine. I got to see her phenomenal series, White Shoes, at the Brooklyn Museum last summer. It's a collection of self-portraits taken in locations that were pivotal in the New York slave trade. Faustine shared in an interview with Brooklyn Magazine that New York was historically portrayed as a utopia, free north, but it was actually one of the largest slave-owning northern states, and that her home borough of Brooklyn, in fact, held the largest number of slaves. She believed that to ignore that history is a type of violence on the soul. The photo, From Her Bodies Spring Their Greatest Wealth, is Faustine with shackled wrists on an improvised auction block on Wall Street. The original wall for which Wall Street is named was built by the enslaved at a site that served as the city's first organized slave auction. Throughout the series, she wears what she calls church lady pumps, purchased from Payless Shoes, to symbolize ever-present white patriarchy, colonialism, and forced assimilation. By documenting herself in places where history becomes tangible, Faustine shared that she acted as a conduit in solidarity with peoples whose names and memories have been lost but are embedded in the land. Like Isabel, a woman enslaved at the LaFord House in Prospect Park, one of the largest slave-owning properties in New York, and the land-owning free blacks of Seneca Village. Seneca Village was a prosperous black haven in Manhattan for decades before it was seized via eminent domain to build Central Park. She shared that the series was also about her, a living, breathing woman who was free, unlike the people who preceded her. She documented herself at sites of historical trauma, defiantly nude. She described nudity as a way of celebrating and reclaiming the black body in art specifically by inverting the oppressive logic of photographs of enslaved people taken under duress. I really wanted to answer and challenge those images within my own way of reclaiming. I knew the power of the black body and specifically of my fleshy, large body. She also paid homage to Sandra Bland in her photograph titled Say Her Name. As Nona is laid over an American flag, as a subject of mourning, her mother sits in attendance, becoming linked with generations of maternal figures who have lost children to violence and structures of social neglect. Nona's works are currently held in the collections of the David C. Driscoll Center at the University of Maryland, the Studio Museum of Harlem, the Brooklyn Museum, and the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh, among others. Rest in power, Nona Faustine.